If you're a trade business owner, this is where you should be checking in with your suppliers. Rightio, so I've been helping one young roofer in Auckland deal with a massive problem at the moment, and we found out an absolute glitch in his pricing process today. He contacted me a little while ago and I've been working with him going through his sales process, but ultimately the guts of it is we've sent out 40 quotes to private market. At the moment he's doing a lot of subcontract work, labor only work. We've sent out 40 quotes to the private market, about $1 million worth in the works that he's doing, and we haven't won one single job. So I went through his process and I said, mate, we need to hash out your sales process. How you're contacting people, what your marketing position is, how they're coming to you, what we're sending back to them, how quickly are we re-engaging with those leads, what are we sending them on email, are we attaching a company profile, how are we looking at our text, how are we laying out our emails, are we using regards from his name, do we have a signature in his email, analyzing all his text data as well. All I wanted to do is go in and find one way that we can increase his sales rate, and as soon as we get one out of those 40 and we start reconverting, I know his confidence will absolutely jump, and when you get that initial win, your confidence absolutely skyrockets. So I said to him today, mate, what is going on with the pricing? Do we need to relook at this? And he said that he went through his 2 lots of suppliers that he was using and found out that one supplier, I don't know how, was 25% higher than his other supplier that he could have been using. And I said, mate, if that's $1 million worth of work, if you're telling me we could have come in 25% cheaper than all other quotes, that is probably literally the bottleneck that he needed to fix in order to change his business and start winning private work. When we're doing this private work, the margins, you have to be very, very careful on how you're pricing, because we went through his pricing process. Was he allowing for P&Gs? What was his average labor rate per square meter or per hour that he was allowing to do these re-roofs or maintenance jobs? Was he allowing vehicle costs on these? Was he putting markup on materials? How he was allowing for waste removal? We went through everything. Obviously, when it's just a labor only job, you're only billing for labor, but when we're looking at this as a full contract private job, you're putting markup on P&Gs, you're putting markup on labor, you're putting markup on materials, and then ultimately any sub trades as well, or rubbish removal. If he was 25% higher on the materials with a markup because of the retail rate, and he had a margin on everything else, it was no doubt he was going to be higher than everyone. If you're a trade business owner, this is where you should be checking in with your suppliers every 2 months, every 3 months, really taking on board whenever they send you a material price increase, that you take that on board and you have a look at all these items and all your costs going up, okay? Point number 2, update your pricing model now. Always look at what are your contractors charging you, what do your guys on wages cost you, how much are you charging out to the market, and do back costing on your projects. If you know that the average re-roof by the time you do demolition is say 18 hours labor for the cost of a day, make sure the last re-roof that you did, see how many hours it actually took you. Make sure you allocate for every single time, getting all the rubbish off site, going to the dump, driving to and from the dump, going to the material supplier to pick up whatever you need to do and get back to site, and start back costing all your hours. If you find out that it doesn't actually take 18 hours, it only takes 12, then you can bring your margin or your allocations down from 18 hours down to 15. You've still got a bit of a markup, and you're still making markup on a labor as well. So I think the more you can refine your business, and the best time to do this is when you're quiet, the better. I would much rather you win 20% of all your private work by coming down a little bit cheaper than 25-30%, but you've got tighter margins. All I want you to do is look at, as soon as you're trying to jump from the labor only work to the private work, control your margins, know that you're making markup across 4 or 5 items, not just one, because when you're on labor only, you're only making money off labor. But when you go to the private sector, you're making money on all those other items allocated, okay? What do we need to review there? Always look at back costing your jobs. And number 2, get supplier update quotes as often as you can. Talk to your reps, and even just send your most previous quote out to other quotes and look at how can you make sure that you're getting the best bang for buck, because that could be the make or break between winning $1 million worth of work or winning no work. If you're a trade business owner and you want to get assistance, you want accountability, you want a coach, you want someone to give you clarity, book a call below and we'll see if we can help you. Hope you enjoyed that video. Drop a comment.